In 2000, we bought an abandoned 100-acre farm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We spent years cleaning it up, built a new house, and now are trying to make it a functional homestead farm. Welcome to Red Tool House.
Well, welcome. It's time for another episode here, and you may be wondering, why are we standing in the dark with this ominous mood lighting? Well, at this time of year, it's dark at 5 o'clock, and we just so happen to have a 60-degree evening, and it's not raining. It's been raining nonstop for the past 443 days, so we're anxious to get an actual evening without rain. You may ask, with this lighting, where are you going to get any work done? Or are you filming some cheesy detective film noir movie?
And there I was in my cold, lonely office space, desperately trying to find the bottom of my whiskey glass. Then she walked in.
No, we're not doing anything like that. What we're trying to do is we're getting ready for our freezer unit that we've got to build here. And again, taking advantage of no rain. Got to take the siding off. We're going to build a 8x8 cube right here on this concrete pad. You saw in a previous video, we gave you a little update about our concrete work. So we're going to build an 8x8 cube here. It's going to be attached to the workshop and be able to access. I'll cut a door where that window is, and we'll be able to access it there. So that's what we're doing right now, is try to get some siding off, and then hopefully, if we've got good weather Saturday, we can get a lot of the build done. Also want to take this opportunity to discuss our email giveaway. We talked about in 2017 we'd launch each month an email giveaway. So I want to announce what we're giving away in January. This month we will give away one of these. No, not a large head. It will be a hat. We have the high beam hat, which we had promoted before. Got the lights built into it, pretty snazzy. And it will actually be a brand new one. It's not going to be one that's been on this dirty noggin. It'll be a brand new one. Have the Red Tool House brand. But we're giving one of those away. And the only thing you need to do to be involved in that drawing is just subscribe to our email newsletter. You can go to redtoolhouse.com, big button down at the bottom that says sign up now. And be sure to do that. Now, we won't blow you up with emails. In fact, I guarantee you will not get more than 6 a month. I'd be surprised if you get 1 a month, the way things are going with the workload we have. But all we do is just email out what we've got going on here, blog posts, video updates, and just let you know what's going on the farm, just give you some updates and that type of stuff. So again, no purchase necessary, void where prohibited, batteries not included. No, that's not true. Batteries are included. Just sign up and we'll do a drawing at the end of the month. And then each month we'll announce our next giveaway item, and we'll just let 2017 roll, and each month we'll give something neat away. Well, in this episode, I wanted to take, since it's the new year, as we're filming this, we're in January 2017, I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of look back at 2016. Some of the ups, some of the downs, some of the things we love, some of the things we hate. We laughed, we cried, we had a good time. Just want to take a look back at 2016 and say, what are the bad things that happened and what are the good things that happened on the homestead? We had some ups and we had some downs. So I'm going to take this opportunity in this episode to just kind of rehash some things. A lot of people that do YouTube videos, these personal looks in their lives, maybe are not as transparent as they should be. And I've been guilty of that to some degree. Obviously, you don't want to necessarily bare your soul and show all the dirty, nasty stuff that happens and all the failures. But so I've made it a point to try to force myself to share that, even if it's unpleasant. So this video will probably just discuss 3 major setbacks we had on the homestead this year. And we'll look at that. We'll just dive right into it and we'll show you the 3 things that happened in 2016 that were really major setbacks for the homestead.
Setback number 1.
Well, this definitely slows you down a little bit. Wheel bearing comes apart. Even tore up the housing. That's going to get expensive. Spindle looks all right. Okay, so fast forward 2 weeks. My poor tractor's been out here in the pasture for 2 weeks now, waiting for the parts to come in. So I got to pull that bearing out and the whole new assembly on. So this is the gear, the new bearing, New axle, new housing, new hub. Yeah, about $700 worth of stuff. And then of course we put the wheel back on. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I got the bearing loose with the help of my fine adjustment tool and my cat's paw. This allowed me to get in behind it and pull it out. So everything still looks good there. So hopefully the way we've got all this put together now, this should just be a plug and play. Or as we like to say, plug and pray. We'll see how it goes. I can see I've had some pig snout in here, putting mud in my axle housing. So this bearing, see there's its replacement already in place. The gear is set. There's the housing, the O-ring. Just got to put it together. Okay, so the housing set up there fairly easy. What I had to make sure obviously is seat the bearing, and obviously make sure my gear is meshing, but I do have some little bit of play in here. Obviously I want to line my bolts up. The thing I got to do is close this gap, and I can do that with the bolt, start snugging it in, but you really got to watch. This is all cast. Obviously I don't want to crack this and torque it down too much, so I'm going to try to, with the protective element here, try to drive this in a little bit more, see if I can get that bearing to seat, because I think that's what's holding it. I think my gear's meshing fine. Well, another great benefit in having a bucket on your tractor is that it can be your jack. So I was able to jack this up, and you can see I've got my axle. Try to keep from going upside down here. I've got my entire axle off the ground, so I can spin the axle and be able to try to make sure my gears are meshing and everything. So really handy, obviously, to have that. I've almost got this seated up. Just got to crush that gasket in there. So I'm going to try snugging it a little bit with the bolts and see if that gets it together. You know, one thing my dad always taught me when it came time to tightening anything down, especially like a wheel if you're changing a tire, was go from opposite directions. So so I'm going to start with this one and get it finger tight. And then you start to snug it up. But instead of just coming to the next ones here, clockwise or counterclockwise, come all the way down opposite and do the same. And especially dealing with something that's cast metal, you can crack it, is you'll dog this one down a little bit, then come down here, and it's going to just kind of keep rocking that back and forth, getting it tighter and tighter. And actually do them all, but just keep going diagonally across and see if that helps suck it in. If you just started here dogging it down, then you could have something in a bind, and it could actually cause it to crack if you try to torque it down too much. Okay, so I'm all dogged down. Got a little bit of a gap there. I'm not exactly excited about. So I just going to keep an eye on it here, and we'll go ahead and put the gear oil in it, see if we get any leaks. And one thing the tractor guy told me was after I put the oil in, I got to let it sit a little bit. Don't start it and try to drive it immediately, because the oil needs to obviously get down there and coat the gears and coat the bearings. You don't want to burn anything up. So he suggested put the oil in, walk away for a half hour, let it soak in. So that's what we're going to do. Right, here comes quality control. What is this? Inspection? Oh, Jaws. Angry pig. Angry pig. You're next. Knuckle sandwich. Oh, come on. It's not letting me paint on anything. Excuse me, pig face. Nothing to see here. Move along. It's the pig with eyeliner. Usually see. Face. Made it. You hateful thing. Okay, so this is tear down number 3. The issue I'm having is sent it to the dealership where I bought it, and they gave me the new cover here, new hub, new everything basically. So about $700 worth of parts. Put it all together for me, so all I had to do was come home and bolt it up. Bolted it up, leaked like crazy here, leaked like crazy behind the hub. Tore it down the other night and discovered that the oil seals were put in backwards. I called them the next day to confirm that. Yes, they were right. So there's a couple other things I discovered in my ignorance that I didn't do right. So taking it apart for the 3rd time, and hopefully third time's a charm.
Setback number 2.
Well, the next 2 setbacks we had this year involve loss. The first is in our chickens. We've had an extraordinary amount of loss in the chickens due to predation, and I thought I had a pretty good system in place with the fencing and those type of things taken care of, but raccoon and possum have really been wearing us out. I've lost probably 20-30 birds this year. And that's really frustrating. Seems like they always get taken out just as they're about to become egg producers and get to that maturity. So you go all that 6 months and all the feed you have in them just to lose them to a predator. So the setback obviously not just the loss, but the steps that we had to go through to prevent any further loss. And it may seem like not that much of a big deal, but having to open and close a pop door to keep the predators out is an extra setback because of the extra steps it takes. Now again, it maybe sound lazy, but it really, that's one of the type of things that really anchor you to the homestead more. At night we got to close it. In the morning we got to open it up every night. So if we're away, we have to figure out who's going to take care of that or deal with maybe some loss. If it's one of those things you want to sleep in, or you're not going to sleep in too long because you got to get down and get the chickens out. So something as simple as just opening and closing a door has been a setback for us. And our coop isn't just a little stroll out of out from the house. It's down in the valley, so it's a decent little jaunt down to the chicken coop. So that's the issue we ran into was, okay, we now have to do this on a regular basis. The raccoons are actually going in the coop and dragging the chickens out and killing them there. So something as simple as opening and closing a pop door, setback, and again, all the loss of birds. But we got to go down right now and close them up and check out. And I've got some traps set, so we'll see if we had any luck scoring anything there. Oh look, it appears to be raining too. Shocker. So I'd mentioned in one of my previous videos we had issues with raccoons even scaling the walls of our chicken coop and being able to get in and do some damage inside the coop. So we put all this fencing up, netting around the rafters to make sure the coop was predator tight. And then of course discovered we gotta close these pop doors because they're getting to them as well. So yeah, just a bit of a setback there that we weren't expecting. Looks like one of my traps is triggered, so we may have a winner here. All right, so let's check out trap number 1. I'm not sure how this lighting's going to do here. See if it can even autofocus. Doesn't look like it's going to. There it goes. All righty, so trap number 1, no dice. It does look like feed's been taken. So somebody snuck in there and got something. So let's check trap number 2. Got a wee devil here. Hello.
So, obviously, I've yet to really see a possum eat a full-size chicken. Now, some of you may say, well, dummy, you haven't been around, because they do. And I've heard that they do. This little devil, I believe, looking at his tracks, he's been coming down to my automatic feeder, sitting on his butt for a couple hours and just shoveling it in. So he's a little on the portly side and the back side there. So we're going to relocate him and see if we can get him out of here. And hopefully he won't be a nuisance anymore. So you can see, here's a predator. So we'll come around and check out our pop door and close them up.
The final setback.
So when I was putting together the notes for this video, talking about our setbacks that we had, my third and final setback of the year was again dealing with loss, and it was dealing with loss with our piglets. And so that was going to discuss that, but in the time frame of creating these notes and shooting this video, I've had even worse loss. In the situation I had, also dealing with the pigs, it's actually been tougher on me than losing the piglets. And what happened, like right now, I'll refrain from showing the picture, but right now, in the back of this side-by-side, I have a dead 300-pound pig. And what happened, it's kind of a long story, but what happened, my brother and I were over here cutting, on our south ridge, cutting some trees in our pasture area for the cabin project we're working on. And just out of dumb luck, we made sure the pigs were away from us, and just as one tree falls, one gets spooked and runs, and just the very top of the tree caught her. Now you think, okay, why is that dead pig in the back of your side-by-side? Why have you butchered it? Well, again, the story's a little bit longer than that. What happened is when the tree fell on her, it just trapped her, and it was the very top of the tree. So we cut the tree off of her thinking, okay, is this going to kill her or not? But we watched her. We observed her for 3 days. She had no blood. She wasn't limping. There was no blood coming from her mouth. There's no blood coming from her stool. These things are like little tanks. We thought, okay, maybe she was able to walk this off. She'll be sore for a while, but it didn't do any damage. So I watched her for 3 days. Again, she walked around a little gimpy, but nothing out of the ordinary. You'd expect having a tree fall on her. She still ate well, had a good appetite. No signs of any issue. Well, then what happened is the fourth day I come rolling out to check on her, and she's gone. So I don't know where she's gone. And again, pigs on pasture have access to 5 acres. So I'm walking around looking through the woodlot, trying to find her, and not having any luck. Can't find her anywhere. And I thought, okay, did this pig die? And option number one, did the other pigs cannibalize her that quickly that I can't even find a trace? I found that highly unlikely. Normally, I've never had a situation with pigs cannibalizing. Obviously, haven't had the loss, but they really don't even nip at one another. To me, that didn't seem likely, and I would find some sort of trace. My second thought was, did she wander off? All my fencing was intact. Normally, they don't wander off by themselves. Again, being sick, being injured, maybe she had. So, okay, did she wander up the valley somewhere? But again, didn't find any places where the fence was down. And the third option was it just dumb luck that maybe she was poached? Hunting season was just wrapping down. Maybe somebody wandered into my valley, thought, hey, let's shoot a pig, and hauled it out. So, really getting discouraged, thinking, okay, where is this pig gone? And it wasn't until 2 weeks later, and it's amazing to believe that 2 weeks I couldn't find her, but 2 weeks later, I just so happened to be standing on a certain spot of the pasture where I could look over on the south ridge, and in one of these small ravines, I saw her from a distance. So I could see her from across the valley, and saw she had most likely passed away or was in the throes of dying, and rolled down into this ravine and actually rolled up under a stump. And so I couldn't see her even when I walked that ravine. It wasn't until I went right up the center of it that I could kind of look down under that stump and see her. So again, bam, 300-pound pig dead, been on the ground for 2 weeks, obviously lost everything, can't salvage the meat, can't do anything there. So I've got a 300-pound sow I have to dispose of tonight, and
And the way I estimate it, roughly out about $900. These pigs, I usually get about $700 out of them when I sell them. And I had about $200 in feed in that pig, because she was, we're butchering in a couple weeks, so she was right up to butchering size. So that's really been tough. It's one of those things where you have a loss like that, and again, no one to blame but myself. I just never expected to drop a tree on a pig. So it's one of those things. The pigs are curious. Obviously, they like the treetops, the leaves, the very ends, the tender ends of the tree. So they like to hang around when they know we're cutting stuff down. So it's just something I got to take into consideration going forward. I just got to be more careful going forward when we cut trees. So that's our third setback, and to me, that's the biggest one. That's probably the most costly. I mean, my tractor was expensive, but this one's the most costly. Not only out of pocket money, but just psychologically. I hate to kill an animal, obviously accidentally. We like to have our pigs live a wonderful life up until it's time to put them in the freezer. So this pig didn't. So that's been a drag. So just goes to show you, not everything is rosy on the farm. We have setbacks, and usually it's because of dumb mistakes, poor planning, poor effort on my part. So that's our third and final setback.
Well, okay, there you have it. Those were 3 things that happened this year that were a bit of a drag for us, and again, weren't necessarily showstoppers or life-threatening. I guess it depends on who you were. But definitely it gave us setbacks. It cost us money, things we weren't anticipating, delayed things that we had planned. So again, it's not all roses and green pastures around here. In fact, it's all mud right now, but you just, bad things are going to happen, and you're just going to have to deal with them. That's just a fact of life. So that's what we had in 2016, but we also had some ups. In our next video that we'll do, we'll talk about the upside. I always like to start with the bad news first, so that's why we did this one first. But that's what we've got going on. Well, as always, we ask you, if you like these videos, to please give us a thumbs up. That really helps other people find us. Again, that really encourages us when we see good feedback, and gets us excited to do more as the weather breaks, and we'll fire up the camera even more, of course. Also, if you haven't subscribed, again, subscription to our channel doesn't do anything other than notify you. But as I get more subscriptions, that allows me to be able to do more with YouTube and provide more services, and obviously get seen more. So I really appreciate the subscription there. That's another encouragement. If you want to know what's going on the farm elsewhere, just go to redtoolhouse.com. And there you'll see blog posts and updates of what we've got going on. And then feel free to follow us on Facebook. You can go to Facebook.com/Red Tool House Farm, or just @Red Tool House in the search bar, and you'll find everything pertaining to us. Well, that's it. We hope you all have a good one. Take care.